We're starting in Shavasana this morning, so everybody come down to the mat in their own way, take your time. You won't need a cushion right at this minute, but I've got my nice flat cushion for later on we might want it. But you can put it under your head just now for a couple of minutes, but then we're going to be rolling round a bit like we're on a spit this morning. So I'm going to sit up just for a second as you get into position. So have a stretch or whatever, or rock if you need to, just to make yourself comfortable. It can be quite hard feeling coming down to the mat onto your back if you've been moving around a bit. So take your time, find your comfort, find your ease. And then once you get there, close your eyes. We're going to do a little bit of a body, not a body scan, but we're looking at our breathing this morning. Today's class is called Breath and Movement. It's the first I'm going to do 3 classes about what is yoga being the theme. So this is the first one, breath and movement. And breath and movement, so ancient yoga texts tell us that disease stems from an unbalanced flow of prana, our life force. And prana isn't, although we do pranayama, breath control, prana isn't actually the breath. Prana comes in through the breath. It's the life force in the universe, the energy out there, if you want to look at it that way. And we share that energy through our breath. So, as I say, in ancient yoga, they said that disease stemmed from an unbalanced flow of this. And breathing properly, with some added movement, but not necessarily, breathing properly plays a vital role here in restoring the flow, the proper flow of your prana, and assisting any affected body systems or your brain, also included there. So synchronized breath and movement, we're going to do a little bit of that this morning, which is yoga. We know what it does for us, calms the mind, reduces stress, improves our posture with the movements and the breathing. The breathing is very important for posture, remember. Aids our circulation, lowers our blood pressure, can bring in a meditative state, which helps also to relieve any mental health issues, anxiety, stress, fatigue, insomnia. So a multitude of things it will affect if we breathe and move properly. Okay, so lying now on the floor, you've been watching your breath maybe for a second as you listen to me there. We're going to find our diaphragms. Our diaphragms, remember, are the most, well, they are the primary muscle of respiration. So just cup your hands onto the bottom of your ribs. And that's roughly where you find the diaphragm. It then goes round your body, under your ribs, across your body, and fixes onto the back of your spine, a little bit lower down than the front of your ribs, so it's slightly on a slope. And interestingly, your right side of your diaphragm here, as you hold it, you might find it slightly, my ribs feel different, but I think that's just me. So your right side of your diaphragm is slightly higher in its attachment at the front of you here, to your left side, and that's because you've got your liver under your right side. So it needs a little bit more space when the diaphragm goes down. The left side, no, sorry, yes, that's right. And they think the left side, they're not sure medically yet, but the one idea is that the left side's a little bit lower so that your heart's got a little bit more space. Anyway, the body's made to fit everything inside it in a very magical way. Okay, so going to the breathing. First of all, hands on your diaphragm there, on your ribs. And we're just going to breathe in when you're ready. Start to breathe in through your upper chest and down to where your hands are, down to the diaphragm. So just don't force it, first of all, just take it slowly. Start to breathe in and try to work up to your count of sort of 3 or 4, a nice long inhale. And expanding through the ribs in the front of your body particularly, you can feel them moving under your hands. The ribs are moving, they move and they adjust, and the diaphragm moves with them, obviously. So that dome-shaped diaphragm is flattening out as you breathe in and moving downwards. just looking at your inhale here for the moment, is opening up the front of your chest, across your shoulders, down to your ribs, across into the diaphragm. And then releasing the breath for a second. So moving the lungs and the diaphragm there as you breathe in. Okay, so move your hands now down to your belly. And we're going to exhale, or focus on the exhale, can't just exhale obviously. So inhale, and then as you exhale, focus on drawing in your belly and moving the breath out of you from your belly. So inhaling, don't worry too much about the inhale, we'll put it together in a minute. But as you exhale, draw the belly in, draw up through your diaphragm and move the breath out of you. So just focus for a few breaths on the exhale there. So exhaling, we're trying to move the breath out. Now the breath has not gone into your belly, but we're moving everything in the belly, the muscles, etc., and essentially moving the diaphragm upwards again to push the air out of your lungs. So although we call it belly breathing, it doesn't go into your belly, it's the diaphragm pushing down to your belly that swells that area to make room for your organs. Your belly has to extend. Then we exhale by drawing the belly in, moving the organs back to where they're supposed to be, maybe, and drawing up through the diaphragm as the air expels through your nostrils. So putting that together now, focus on both. So you're inhaling and spreading open at the ribs and the chest, moving the diaphragm down. And you're exhaling and gently drawing the belly in towards the back of your spine and upwards under your ribs. So you're tucking under your ribs with your diaphragm. And as you do your next few inhale exhales, think about that diaphragm and the shape of it. So when you're inhaling, it goes into kind of a mushroom, flatter mushroom shape upwards. As you exhale, no, sorry, got that the wrong way around. As you inhale, the diaphragm goes downwards and opens and spreads and pushes everything downwards. As you exhale, it raises upwards and under your ribs to expel your air through your lungs. Just knowing how you breathe is a good thing. Okay, so then let go of the breath again. We're going to roll over onto our left side. If you need to shake about in the meantime, have a rock or anything, please do. You might want your cushion here under your head just for comfort. And we're going to stretch out, I'm on my left side now, so I'm stretching out my left arm and popping my head on top of that and the cushion in between if you've got one. We're nice and long, pointing the toes away. We're stretched out through our spinal column here, extending lying on the floor. So you should feel a little bit of a lift under your waist. And your other hand can be wherever you want it. It can be in front of you if you need a bit of stability there, or you can pop it back onto your belly or your ribs. What we're thinking here is of breathing through the side of the ribs. So inhaling, and think of maybe the upper ribs to start with, because you can find the space there. So inhaling and exhaling, but using your side of your body this time. So thinking of, in this case, the right side maybe to start with. You might want to stretch both arms. That makes it a bit more difficult for the breath though. But moving that right side of the rib cage as you inhale, and then exhaling again using your abdominal muscles. Lift the diaphragm up. And then if you can, try and breathe through the lower set of ribs. So in my case, my left side, whatever you're lying on. Bit more difficult with the floor there, but you can actually feel the movement more against the surface of the floor if you're breathing on that side. And then we're going to roll now onto our fronts. You can use the cushion still if you want to. Put one hand under your head or under the cushion, and the other hand, see if you can slide it down and put it under your belly. And then once you're settled, again start to focus and control your breath. So inhaling into the chest area and exhaling again from the belly. So again, we've contained that area, but it helps you to become more aware of what's moving. You might find you've moved the breath more into the back of your body because again, you've not got any surfaces pushing against it. Remember, 65% of your lungs is in the back of your body, so that's not a bad thing, and it's very hard to move your back ribs, much harder than it is to move the front ribs because they're attached to your spine, obviously. So as you inhale, focus on that attachment on your spine of your ribs and see if you can just find tiny movements there on the breath as you inhale. And you exhale, maybe you can then start to draw up through your tummy that's lying against your hand. See if you can get it involved. Feel the swell of your belly as you inhale. Feel the movement of your diaphragm pushing down in towards your belly. You might even feel your hips expand almost as you breathe in and your belly expands. The movement goes right round your lower abdominal area. And remember, this is using the whole of our core to breathe. And none of us breathe properly on a day-to-day thing until we think about it. But trying to get yourself into a pattern of good breathing is incredibly beneficial for everybody. Okay, so then just try the other side, rolling onto your right side in my case. Taking a couple of breaths now, arm out underneath, lift that waist a little bit, engage the abdominal muscles. Inhale, exhale. Where are you moving from now? Where can you feel the breath? Can you expand the breath by moving it to a different part of you? The whole body breathing really is what we're looking at here. And you may have found a little bit of you was stuck there. Some parts of you don't move quite as easily on the breath. So it's worth knowing those things as well. Being aware and seeing it. It's like exercising any other part of your body. Okay, so when you're ready, roll back onto your back and let go of the breath. We will be breathing here, so we're going to breathe and move through these movements this morning. So just gently bring in your right leg and then your left leg and come into Apanasana when you're ready. Hold the back of your thighs or your shins. And then just take a rock through your back of your spine by rolling from side to side, holding your knees. So drawing your knees in and just rocking from side to side. And then try to take the breath with the movement. So try to breathe in one direction, exhale the other. You have to really slow down the movement to work with the breath. And actually when you do, you roll through far more parts of your back of your body than you do when you speed it up and roll from side to side. So take it slowly on the breath. And then come to neutral again. Take one foot down at a time so you're not putting too much strain on your SI joints there. And we're going to take one leg out and one leg in, so whichever you want to start with. For some reason my right's going out and my left one's in, so drawing my left knee in. And then we're going to move the legs on the breath, in and out. Now you can keep your feet on the floor here. If you don't want to draw that knee in, you can do this in a more easeful way by keeping your one foot on the floor as you slide it in and out. Okay, when you're ready, on the breath, take a couple of breaths first. Get your breath moving first. We always move on the breath first before the movement. Inhale, exhale. And then on your next inhale, you're going to move that other leg up and take the left leg away in my case. So you just drawing one in, letting the other one go out. Exhale there, inhale as you move again. So inhale with the movement, exhale at the top. If you want to then just find your own rhythm, please do. Don't necessarily have to breathe the way I tell you. But move carefully on the breath, so move it with the length of the breath. Makes it a little bit harder as well when you do that. Having to focus on the breath as well as the body moving. Makes it harder. You take it slower and therefore your muscles are working harder because you're doing weight training here essentially. Okay, so then leave one leg out, bring one leg in, and the opposite arm to the one that's in, stretch it out over your head or to the side slightly, whichever's more comfortable. If your shoulder doesn't allow you to put your hand up above your head, just take it out to the side. All we're going to do is wrap that arm then, bring it down, wrap it round the leg that's in, and take, no, sorry, we're not. We're going to do it not diagonally, we're going to do it the same side. So, sorry, take the same leg out and the same arm out above your head. Okay, so as you inhale now, we're going to inhale and we're going to draw the other knee in, bring that arm down, catch it, and take both the leg and the arm out on the opposite side. So one side is long, the other side is contained. Inhale as you move. So again, if this is hard for you, then keep your foot on the floor and just bring your arm down. You don't need to catch your leg. If you're finding it strong on your back, for instance, keep your core engaged here. This is a core exercise. This would be something you do probably in Pilates. And then when you've done both sides evenly, bring your knees both back in, pop your hands onto your knees, take a few circles in one direction, so stirring the pot as we call it, opening up the hips a little bit. Try to work that with the breath. The movement's a little bit difficult to work with breath here maybe, but try and slow the breath down as you do it, even if it's not exactly going round in the circle in that speed. And then take it in the other direction, open up the hips in the other direction. Maybe your shoulders are having a little bit of a massage at the same time. If you go in bigger circles here, your shoulders will get a little bit of a movement through them as well. A little bit more movement. Okay, so then feet to the floor. Remember what I did next, so lie down. Okay, so feet to the floor. We're going to take windscreen wipers with our feet about hip distance apart, not the width of the mat. Arms out to the side just to support yourself. Breathe in, and as you exhale, take your legs over to the right. Just a little bit, not too far. Breathe in as you bring them back to neutral. So it's a real slow windscreen wiper. Exhale as you take them over to your left. Inhale as you bring them up to neutral. Just take a couple of more of those, thinking of moving on the breath first before you let your legs move. Again, you've got your core involved here, so draw in the abdominal muscles to help protect your lower back here. And come back to neutral when you've done it evenly. Legs now to the width of the mat, feet, sorry, to the width of the mat. Take the same thing. So inhale, exhale as you let your legs roll over. Inhale back to neutral, exhale as you let your legs roll over. So this may be mentally quite hard. For some of you might be thinking your body wants to go a little bit faster than this. Resistance training is a big thing nowadays. So this is a form of resistance training because the slower you go, the more your muscles have to really work to contain the movement, to lift that weight back up. Come back up to the top. And then bring the knees in again, and we're going to take Jatari Pravriti. You might want a brick here if you've got one handy, or your cushion. We're just going to draw our knees in, inhale, and as you exhale, roll over to your right. Feet, knees and thighs are together here in a sort of seated position, so in Apanasana position. Take the legs over, let the back shoulder come with you. Bring yourself over so your legs rest on the floor. Doesn't matter if the back shoulder is lifted right off the floor. Leave it where it is for the moment. Take your other hand and just place it as a weight on top of your legs now. So your diaphragm has moved into a rather twisted position here. Forget that top shoulder, even if it's annoying you. If you can open up your top shoulder by rolling and looking back towards it. But don't worry too much, it's early days here. But it's a bit of a strong twist without having warmed up. Okay, so back to the diaphragm. See if you can breathe easily here. So find which part of your body has got the space to breathe. Take a few inhale exhales. And then see if you can find the corners where it's a little bit tighter and take the breath into that area. So it'll be your underside probably, where the twisters go through tighter. See if you can find a little bit more space there with the breath. And then draw your head back to neutral, draw the other arm down to support you. Draw your tummy in, inhale and draw yourself up with the inhale up to the top again. So generally the inhale is the part that takes the weight, exhale is the part that releases. Okay, we're going to go to the other side. If you need anything in between, a stretch or whatever, then please take it. Otherwise, inhale. And as you exhale, holding on to the abdominal muscles, you're using the core there to gently take your legs over to the other side. Big stretch first thing, no warmed up muscles, remember, so pop a brick under if you need to, under your thighs. Use the other hand as a little bit of extra weight there, let the shoulder come with you. If you want to try and get a stretch through the upper chest, then release your shoulder by turning your head towards it, turning the palm up on the back hand. But then take your attention back to your diaphragm. Now here personally, I can feel it's a lot tighter in my upper ribs on this side through the twist. So therefore a little bit more difficult to breathe. So use that breath then to gently open up any areas that feel tight. Don't force it, just gently use the inhale as if you were just gently trying to blow up a crisp bag or something like that. A little bag that just needs, it's got a bit crinkled. There's a few corners that you can't quite get the air into, so but if you push it too hard, it'll pop. It won't pop in your case, but use a visualization to move the breath into the tighter areas. And notice if you have any tiny sense of panic when you can't breathe into the whole of your body. You know you can, you're yogis, you know you can move the breath around your body. This is, you know, how people felt, particularly in times of COVID, etc., where breath is something we all just take for guaranteed. And when it doesn't work, it can really panic people, and it then affects the breath pattern, and it just gets worse. So hyperventilating, for instance. So learning to breathe properly and to slow your breath and to be able to be in control of the breath might help other people through these situations too, if you're able to advise them. Okay, so inhaling, drawing the knees in a little bit, drawing the tummy in and lifting back up to centre. Take it easy, take it slowly, one foot down at a time for that SI joint area, stretching the legs away, stretching the arms maybe if you want above your head and having a bit of a stretch out through the whole of the body here. Maybe one side then the other, see how it feels. Okay, and then we're going to roll over when you're ready and come onto our bellies and come into Sphinx. So Sphinx, we've got our elbows are under our shoulders, our hands are directly in front of them. There's a little bit of friction under your hands and your mat against your mat, so they're almost pulling backwards. So you're not moving, but you've got that slight pull there backwards on your hands towards your shoulders. And then we're lifting our bellies and gently pressing down through our pelvic joints and pubic area down into the floor. Legs can be close together, they can be hip distance, or they can be wider. The wider your legs are, the better this is for your lower back, remember. Not to the point that you've gone too wide, but the sort of width of the mat, you'll feel less pressure on your lower back. And then think of rolling your heart forward and maybe looking up slightly so that you're looking at the end of your mat rather than directly under your head. So just in front of your hands. Drawing your shoulders back and drawing them down the back of your body a little bit to concertina your back to just hold a little bit better in this position, and also to move your heart forward. Now going back to the breath, focus on where your diaphragm is in the front of your body and inhale towards it. Feeling the sides of your ribs move as well. Exhale. Inhale. Drawing out through your back of your body a little bit. See if you can move the breath to there. And exhale. And then focusing on your belly this time as you exhale. So inhaling. Not letting go of the belly, holding onto your abdominal muscles a bit, but as you exhale, draw that tummy in even further. And then gently bring your head down to the floor, draw your hands back to just in line with your shoulder blades, draw your elbows tightly into your side, forehead's on the floor, so you're looking back down the way. Adjust your legs if you need to, adjust your pelvic joints, etc. to press down gently into the mat again, lift up through your belly. We're going into Cobra here, so we'll do 3 or 4 on the breath. So finding the breath, inhale, push into the hands gently, draw the elbows tight to your side and roll up slowly into a baby cobra. Exhale, roll yourself back down. Little cobras are best here, not too far, not too pushy. But as you roll up the next time and inhale, focus on where your diaphragm is again. Really think of moving. So it's harder to focus on that point of your body possibly. I'm finding it harder. Where is the breath going as you do this? Inhale up, exhale down. Normally we open on the inhale, remember we close on the exhale. One more. And stay up this time and hold for 2 breaths. So is this obviously a little bit more difficult to breathe than this in Shavasana? But can you find space without that sense of panic? Roll slowly back down. Now bring your hands ahead of you so they're about the width of the mat. Your wrist is roughly in line with your forehead. We're coming into seal. So same thing as Cobra really, but you've got your arms are slightly wider here. When you inhale, going to gently press into the hands, lift up, and your arms will straighten a bit more in this. But it's a little bit more pressure through your joints in that they're not quite in line, you're not vertically in line. So just be careful as you roll up and down, inhaling up, exhaling down. Legs are still in the same position as they were in Cobra. All that's changed is your hand position. But it's allowing a little bit more opening through your elbows and your arms. When you're ready, we're going to hold up here for a couple of breaths. So pushing gently up, holding, breathing. Find the diaphragm. See if you can get the breath right down to your belly again. Then gently rolling down, going down. Okay, so we're rolling when you're ready back onto your back. Take your time, rolling over. I told you it was like a spit this morning. Okay, so when you're ready, have a stretch if you need to, or anything you need in between. Anybody that needs to just go into child's pose and have a rest, please do. So again, we've just done some quite strong back bends there. We're just going to take another one here and support ourselves with a brick in a second. So have a brick handy. So we're going to take bridge. Bring your feet in, ready for bridge. Heels as close to your bottom as you can. Feet hip distance apart. Hands are on the floor at your sides. We're going to keep the hands still for the first couple. So inhaling as we come up, exhaling as we come down. We're not ready yet. Think of the pelvic tilt first of all. So just tip your pelvis up towards your belly button as you lie on the floor. Just have a rock through your pelvis here. Get used to that pelvic tilt moving. And then that feeling of engagement when you tilt up the way is what you hold as you lift your spine up here. So switch the pelvic tilt on and then begin to inhale and pressing through the feet, lifting up, coming up slowly into a form of bridge that you want to come into. Doesn't need to be too high, just rolling through the spine is the point here. Not about perching on your shoulders, it's about moving through your spinal column. So taking it slowly, inhaling as you come up, nice long slow movement. Moving your knees away from you just to feel that extension through the base of your spine. Exhaling as you roll back down. If you want to come with me, you can move your arms now, but otherwise you just take a roll up and down on your spine as we've been doing. So as you put your arms into the movement, your arms don't move until your inhale starts. So everything starts on the breath in these movements. And then you allow your arms to come up on the inhale, nice big stretch out, and then exhale the arms then begin and come back down with your spine rolling back to the floor. Are you thinking about where your breath is going, or is there too much going on now to even think about what's happening in your breath? Your breath breathes for you. It's an involuntary part of your automotive system. It will not stop until your last breath, obviously, hopefully. But we don't have to think about it all the time. But the more we do think about it, the more your body will become used to that way of breathing and using the right parts of your body to breathe. Okay, so the next one, we're going to go up and we're going to hold and pop our brick under just for a second or two in supported bridge. So come up and then pop your brick under. At low height or at the second height, never at the top height here, please. Not great for your SI area, that one. Okay, so supported bridge, wherever you feel you want to be. You can open up a bit more if you take it onto the second side. And then going back to the diaphragm again. So inhaling while we're here. Don't inhale and talk. Exhaling. Feel the front of your body moving on the breath here. Feel the expansion through your belly as you inhale. Exhaling, draw the belly up and under your rib cage to expel through your lungs. Exchanging oxygen and carbon dioxide into all the cells in your body. And with a little bit of movement, we then move the circulation, so we speed up the process of all that good oxygenated blood moving to us, to the right points of us. And taking all the deoxygenized blood back out and through our breathing. Okay, so then lifting gently off that brick, taking your time to roll the spine down one at a time as you exhale back to the floor. Okay, so then we're going to slowly roll back over again. So rolling, and then we're going to come up and come into all fours. Excuse me, clearing out my lungs. Okay, all fours. If anybody needs to go into child's pose, as I say, a little stretch through after you've done 2 or 3 back bends there. You might want to go into the opposite stretch. Stretching out in child's pose sometimes helps there. While you do that, when you take my hair out of my face. So going back to our diaphragm, an interesting thing I've read about diaphragm was that it was a marker in COVID. The diaphragm in COVID-19 sufferers thinned, and it was a marker they used, I presume, to see what state the patient was in. But it's interesting that it actually, the COVID-19, because we weren't breathing properly, affected the depth of the diaphragm. Okay, so we're all here on all fours now. Into cat-cow in your own time. So just take your cat-cow from neutral into, I go into cow to start and then into cat. You may have done it the other way. Just begin the flow again through your spine here. And watch the speed you're going at now. Are you already on the breath, or have you gone ahead of yourself because you just want to move your body? So now working with the breath. So normally here we would cue to exhale as you go into cat, inhale as you go into cow. Notice I'm saying as you go into, we start with the breath, then we start moving from the tailbone into each position. So either you're inhaling, the tailbone moves and you roll up into cow, or you exhale and your tailbone then moves and you roll up into cat. So after the next one, come back to neutral and let's try that on the opposite breath. So this time we're going to exhale, and then as you inhale, tuck the tailbone and roll up into cat. And as you exhale, roll the tailbone through and come up into cow. So just try it on the opposite breath. Sometimes it works, sometimes that is the one for you, and it might be just today it works. It's not always the same way. There's no set pattern, as long as you're moving on the breath. It just, the reason we do the inhale, exhale the way we do, just continue, is because it's easier to exhale and draw the air out of a swollen belly as you move towards it. So imagine when you're rolling down towards your belly, if you inhale, it's not easy to get the breath in because your belly is contracting. So that's really the movement, is exhaling as we close up and inhaling as we open up. Okay, so come back to neutral when you're ready. Which one worked for you better? Or maybe neither. Okay, so here we're going to just stretch out that right foot behind us, stretch out the left hand in front of us in all fours. Both are still on the floor. And now we're going to lift them. So that will be on an inhale because it helps you take the weight. Moving from the hip hinge and the hinge at your shoulder. When you're ready, inhale, take the arm up and the leg up. Exhale, lower them back to the floor. Inhale, lift. Using the core muscles again, exhale, lower. Nice long slow movements, using that resistance training again. Exhale, lower. Swap hands, bring the back knee in. When you're ready, take the opposite arm and leg away from you. Inhale, lift. Doesn't matter how high you get here. If you can get up to tabletop height, then fine. If you can't, don't worry. As long as you're lifting a little bit on the breath. Back up to the top. Bring that hand back to the floor, bring the knee back in. We're going to take knee to nose now. You can either do that just expanding the leg behind you, keeping the toe on the floor and bringing the knee in and rolling up. Or you can take it and lift the leg behind you, ready to take the movement. So you've either got your foot in the floor to start, or you've got your foot up. Your foot flex and your hip is square to the floor. So what you haven't rolled here, I'm talking about myself here, draw your hips back to being parallel with the floor. Lift at that hip crease if you've lifted the leg. And when we're ready, inhale long, exhale, rolling up into a cat back, taking your knee forward towards your nose. Inhale, open up, maybe lift your head a little bit up. So if your foot's on the floor, you're still doing the same movement with the rest of us. It's just you're not lifting that back leg. And the back leg stays lifted if you are doing that part. And then if you can, you're going to take the knee to elbow this time. Opening out as you exhale, take that knee to the same elbow on the same side. Back. As you inhale, exhale, knee to elbow. Head still looks down, you're still trying to find that cat back as your knee comes to your elbow. Slightly different movement. Then bring that knee down. Take a little rest if you need to, otherwise come to the other side. Oops. You can have foot on the floor, remember, or lift the foot if you're going to lift the foot. Stays lifted. Inhale long, exhale into that cat back, bring the knee to nose. Inhale long. So try and slow it to as slow a movement as you can do. The control takes over then. You really have to work the muscles. You'll feel it harder as you take it slowly. The momentum takes a lot of the pressure out of the muscles if you go quickly. Once you've done 3 or 4, you can move to knee to elbow. Hopefully this is good for anybody with backache. One more. And then sit back when you're ready. Come back to tabletop, sit back and come into child's pose. You can take child's pose with hip distance legs here. Have a little breath. If you can't quite put your head to the floor, bring your arms in and rest your head on your folded arms. And just breathe into the back of your body. So breathe in and open up that area of your back that's quite tense, quite hard to move. Think of expanding the space between each rib. Maybe take your attention round to the side of your ribs and breathing into them. So in yoga we use whole body breathing. So we use the whole of the body to breathe. I notice in Pilates in their teachings, they use lateral breathing. So they use breathing at the side of your body as their idea. It may just be a difference in visualization. I can't imagine they only just use the side of the bodies, but lateral breathing as opposed to diaphragmatic breathing, which is yogic breathing, which is interesting because Joseph Pilates did do yoga, and that's where his whole system came from when he had a bad back. Okay, so coming back up now and finding yourself in Lorna's favourite Garland pose. So stepping onto one foot and then the other. And if you can bring your feet to the floor, then that's fine. Have a little rock through, and they might come to the floor if you go a little bit wider. Come too narrow here, it's harder to stay on the floor. Otherwise, you're on your toes a bit, but that's fine. Bring in a brick, if you can grab one here, and have it handy below you. So you've either got your feet on the floor or you're on your toes a little bit, whichever's more comfortable. Okay, so brick in front of you, hand on it. And all we're going to do here is just inhale and open up. And exhale that arm down, go to the other side. Inhale, open up. Exhale, the arm comes down. Inhale, open up. As you do the next one, think of breathing through that side as you open it. Inhale, open up and breathe through that side of your body. Exhale down. One more to the left. Inhale, open. Exhale down. Okay, so keep your brick handy there and your hands on it. Take one leg out then into half Apanasana. So half Apanasana, again, you can be up on your toes here, or you can bring your foot flat to the floor if you'd rather. I'm going to go toes, it's easier. Okay, so same thing. Turn that foot now, face it forward if you can. Just get a little bit more of a stretch down, particularly around your ankle there. Okay, so using the brick again, you can have your hands on the floor if you feel that's okay for you, but otherwise use the brick. It can be at any height here. If it helps you to go tall, then use it. We're doing the same movement here. So when you're ready, inhaling or opening, and looking up and backwards towards that hand. Exhaling, peek to that side obviously, inhaling, opening. Exhaling. Inhaling, opening. Exhaling, closing. This time we're holding for 2 breaths, so inhale, open. Breathe. Find that open side of your body and breathe into it. Exhale from the belly if you can. And next exhale, bring the hand down. Bring that foot in carefully and change sides. Point the toes forward if you can. Use your brick again at any height you want to, or the floor if you feel more mobile. When you're ready, inhaling, open. Exhaling, close. Very nice and slowly. The slower you move, the more weight you're putting through the movement, so the harder you're working your muscles. Hold the next one. Find the space to breathe. Breathe into that side body. Lateral breathing, as Joseph Pilates said. And forget we have got 4 sides to the circle of our ribs. Then bring that hand down. Bring that leg in. If you need to take child's pose, please do so. Have a little rest. We're going to roll it up from here. Oh no, we're not actually. We're not. We've run out of time. Well, we're going to miss out on our sun salutation, but if anybody wants to take it afterwards, then please do. Okay, let's everybody go into wide leg child's pose then. Take the knees out to the width of the mat, bring yourself down, cross your arms if you need to put your head on your hands. Otherwise, bring yourself down, head to the floor. And breathe into the back of your body. So here in wide leg child's pose, your belly's got much more room. Because it's not against your thighs, obviously, so you should have more space to breathe and find the whole of your breath. Walk yourself back in. Find both your bricks if you've got them handy, or you might want the cushion as well. We're going to go into fish just to finish. We haven't really done anything that we need a cool down particularly for, so bring your bricks in ready for fish and we'll finish in that position today. If you'd rather not do fish, if you want to do just Shavasana, then that's fine. So the bottom brick goes about bra strap height, sorry Gary, but about there roughly. And you might want a cushion if it feels a bit hard on your body. You can use the second brick then for your head if you don't want to put your head down to the floor. You can use a cushion otherwise, or just roll your head back down onto the floor if you're comfortable doing so. The idea with the brick under your chest area is that your shoulders can then roll out and open, so you can really feel that expanse at your very upper chest across the front of your collarbones. So again, it's a back bend. If this is very strong on your lower back, bring your feet in one at a time so that your feet are flat on the floor. If it's too strong in your head, please put something under your head, your other brick, to lift your head up so there's no pressure rushing backwards. Here, just think and come into Shavasana if anybody doesn't want to do this, please. But here, thinking again of breathing into the front of the body here, first of all. So take 2 breaths, nice long inhales, nice long exhales into the front of the body. See if you can just do it into the front of the body without using the rest of the rib cage, etc. And then move the breath into the lateral breathing, so to the sides of the body. So breathe in And expand the sides of your ribs if you can. And then a little bit harder, take the breath round to the back of your body as you breathe in. And using the whole of your upper torso, breathe into your upper chest, into your ribs. Imagine the diaphragm moving down as you feel your belly swell, and then exhale, draw the belly in and remove the deoxygenated breath from you. Take 2 or 3 breaths, just focusing on whole body diaphragmatic breathing. You feel the breath moving up and down. And you imagine all those little cells exchanging oxygen and carbon dioxide. All the systems moving around in you. If we breathe properly, we help all those systems flow properly. The blood moves to all the organs. As the old yogis said, disease stems, not necessarily the only cause, but it stems from prana, our life force, not moving properly to our systems. And one way we can help that is through breath and movement, through our yoga. Bring that energy into you. Release stale, bad energy back to the universe. So you can either stay here or you can just gently come up and remove your brick. Come into Shavasana. We'll finish in Shavasana completely now. Take a couple of breaths, just thinking of taking that good energy from the universe to help your systems flow. Filling it up with prana, life force. Why wouldn't you breathe properly if you could? If you know that it's going to assist your body to work well, to help your mental capacity to function well, to help your well-being in general, why wouldn't you learn to breathe properly? Thank you everybody for your practice. I'm going to just finish here. If you want to stay in Shavasana, please do. If you want to move on, then slowly come out of it. Take yourself up and into Sukhasana, just in between the 2 movements before you stand up. And we'll finish with Namaste.